right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to In the Press Box, the hockey podcast. My name's Sam Hossack. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Alyssa Sperberg. We've been away for a week here, missing an episode. We both had pretty crazy lives going on, but we're back now. So, Alyssa, how's it going?
It's going well. If any of you guys did see what I was doing yesterday, you know that I'd be in a pretty good mood right now. Sam definitely hates that I'm in a great mood about this.
Yeah, you got to meet a Boston Bruins player. Congratulations! Not a not a
Actually,
big
it's not
deal,
my first time meeting him. It's like my sixth or seventh time meeting him.
but.
Yeah, we're just besties.
Yeah, so it's great to be back though, chatting with all you guys about hockey. We've got quite a bit to talk about on this episode. Obviously the Frozen Four for men's happened over the weekend. And that was a stunner of a game. The team that both of us didn't think was gonna lose ended up losing. And then we've had a pretty exciting weekend ourselves. I was at the Women's World Championship yesterday for the day, and Alyssa was down in Philadelphia watching her Bruins play. So we both had some pretty good excitement yesterday, and then we'll wrap up this episode talking about the NHL a little bit. But Quinnipiac and Minnesota in the Frozen Four. Alyssa, did you have that as a matchup on a bracket anywhere? Because I definitely didn't.
I actually had the complete opposite. I'm a big BU girl and I was a big UMich girl, so I was like, you know what? One of my teams will for sure win this and I will be happy. And I had both of them going together in the final. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Sam I'm pretty sure you texted me and you're like, UMich lost, and I'm like, stop it right now, you're lying. And I was like so upset. And he's like, and BU lost, and I was like, okay, thanks. You ruined my night.
yeah, I sent you a text and I was like, yeah, like they lost because I couldn't believe it too. I saw it on Instagram and I was like, okay, is this like a joke? Because like I saw the graphic somewhere and then someone's like, no, no way they lost. I'm like, okay, like it's a joke, whatever, not a big deal. And I go and look at like U Michigan's like Instagram and they had the final score and I was like, okay, they actually lost. And then I went and looked and I was like, okay, like I can see BU losing that game. It was a tough one for them, but Minnesota was a strong team, so it definitely was a shock for sure for that one. But um, I mean, it was tough to see that BU team look pretty strong this year. But Minnesota, I would have had them as a lock to win, and all of a sudden it came out of kind of nowhere that Quinnipiac came out on top and with a goal late. It was definitely a shock there. But what were your thoughts on it?
Definitely a really insane game. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but I did get to watch the highlights and just like scoring like late in the game and then scoring 10 seconds into overtime and winning the game. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, 10 seconds into an overtime, it's
Hmm.
definitely been done before, but you don't see that often in a national
Final.
championship game and in the
And it
final.
was Quinnipiac's first
Yeah,
final ever or
yeah,
first win,
first ever
first
national
championship,
championship.
first
So,
natty.
good on them, but um yeah, it was great, but a little bit of good news for your UMich guys. Ventilli winning the Hobie Baker. I'll throw it over to you to talk about that now.
I've always been like such a big fan of like Adam Fantilli. Like I watched kept up with him throughout the season. Like he had 65 points in just 35 games. You know, he scored 30 goals. That's almost a goal per game. So a couple facts. So he is the third Wolverine to ever win the Hobie Baker. He's also the third freshman ever to win the award, joining former BU standout Jack Eichel and as well as Hall of Famer Paul Correa. And he also led the nation in scoring with 65 points and is tied for the lead in goals with 30 on the season. And he also has his four game-winning goals, which is also the fourth most in the nation. And the odds that he is going to be the second overall pick this year. And he was also National Rookie of the Year, Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and received first team All American honors. And honestly, if Connor Bedard was on this draft class, hot take, he would go first overall.
Fantilli also forgets to throw off his gloves when he wins a World Junior. in overtime. Just wanted to throw that out there, but um, I know that interview's out there on Spinning Chicklets, but that was a pretty funny Fantilli moment I can remember from this year. Just seeing him standing in that pile with his gloves on still after Canada winning that World Junior. But just an unbelievable year for the that U Michigan program. And they're gonna have a lot of success over the next couple of years as well. I know a lot of those guys are moving on and stuff, but it's going to be a great program and it always has been. So, shout out
Mhm.
to Fantilli for winning that award. And I mean, a great Canadian boy winning that, and to have him in the company of Korea and Jack Eichel, that's definitely something special. A lot of people probably didn't have him as a winner of that, especially as a freshman. A lot of people will look over that a freshman class and not think there's going to be a lot of players that are high end players there, but definitely good for him. But um before we move on to the our weekends, a very special moment happened in the Ontario Hockey League on Thursday night that I don't think a lot of people might know about, and it's definitely something you should know about now. So, for those that don't know, I shoot a lot of OHL games with my company, taking photos, and it was one of the games that I happened to be at for the Barrie Colts at home, and this is the first time I've ever seen this happen in real life. I've seen it a lot of times on videos. You see it on Twitter whenever it happens. But with a minute to go in game five between the Hamilton Bulldogs and the Barrie Colts, goaltender Anson Thornton scored a goal. And it was absolutely electric in that building, let me tell you. It all started off with Brant Clark scoring from his own end about 20 seconds before to make it 3-1. And then Hamilton pulled their goaltender again. But I'm standing in the corner and I see Thornton pick up the puck behind the net, and all I hear is a fan yell, shoot. And I look down for half a second, and when I look up, he shot the puck. And I'm like, okay, like this is gonna go for icing, whatever. And I look down the ice and it's going straight into the net. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like the crowd just erupts, like it's absolutely electric in there. So shout out to Anson Thornton for doing that. And I was talking with Chris Gazzolia after downstairs, and he said the crazy thing was that he was working on that morning at practice. Like he had been just shooting pucks down the ice, just like messing around, I guess. And what could happen. So shout out to him. And a lot of people are like, yeah, goaltender goals happen, but in the playoffs, not that often. And for Thornton, it was the first career goal for a goaltender in Barrie Colts history after 26 years in the league. So I definitely want to give a shout out to that. I don't know if you saw it, Alyssa, but I know we were talking about it after. So what are your thoughts on having a goalie score a goal?
I mean, from seeing like the Bruins do it and not even being there, and I lost my mind from you just being there because you sent me the pictures and then you're like, oh my God. And then I was like, kind of confused. I'm like, what's so special? And then I like put them all together. I'm like, oh my God, like the goalie scored. And like, especially in just like a playoff game. And like, can you imagine just like the adrenaline and all the rush you would get from that? Like, I couldn't even imagine. And being in that building, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, it was absolutely electric. And um a quick shout out to Josh Kim, good friend of mine that is the Colts team photographer. He always stands between the benches for the games, and he doesn't take video that often from what I know, but we're gonna throw this over here. And it's not often that he switches from taking photos to videos, but this is the one time. So let's throw it back. Thornton picks the puck up here, just looks down the ice and right into the net. And you can hear the crowd. It's absolutely electric in there. Everyone's losing their mind here. And
I
as
can't
he
lie to you,
hits
the
the
video is
bench,
just
the
not
crowd's just
playing for
still
me.
going. He's getting the crowd going. Everyone on the bench is fired up for him. So shout out to Anson Thornton for that one. Definitely a special moment. And I mean, his first career goal. Obviously, he's a goal. He's not going to have that many goals, but A very special moment for Anson there. So shout out
Funny
to him.
enough, the video just didn't play for me and it just like jumped. So it just
It,
jumped to him doing the train, so I just didn't even see it. The video just didn't play.
hold on. Oh my God. Of course, we got like typical issues when stuff isn't working on this podcast. Shout out to
I was
us.
just listening to you like talk about it and I'm like, yep, the video's paused.
Is it working now?
No. It like jumped and then it was not fine.
Okay.
There it goes. Oh, it stopped. Oh, okay, we're good. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen. Do it again. Oh, clear the bench for that one.
So shout out to the listeners that are just listening to the audio part of this and I have no idea what what's going on. Or hopefully that played the second time. I'm assuming it did.
It did. It did.
Perfect. So I mean, at some point we're pretty new to working together on this, so at some point we're gonna have it where everything's lined up. You'll have to give us a bit, but hey, we're gonna have some issues for the start of this. But
It'll be the day that I say someone's name wrong and Sam will never let me live it down. I'm waiting for that day too.
hey, a lot of things are gonna happen on this podcast, so who knows what's gonna happen here. But the Leafs are up 1-0 on the Florida Panthers right now. Austin Matthews with a beautiful tipping goal. As I was talking about another um great moment, but Austin Matthews, another great player in this league. Beautiful
Mediocre at best.
tipping goal, typical Bruins comment there. But we're gonna throw it over to the weekends we had, and I'll kick this off here. I don't want to hear about the Bruins too much right off the start of this podcast, so we'll wait a little bit to get to the Bruins talk here. But yesterday I got the opportunity. It's my mom's birthday today, so I took her down to the Women's Worlds yesterday in Brampton, and unfortunately, all the Canada tickets for the tournament sold out pretty quickly, even before the tournament started. So there wasn't the option to go to a Canada US game, which is going on right now. But I took the opportunity to take her down to the USA and Czechia and Germany Finland game yesterday, or Germany and France, sorry. And a lot of people are probably like, oh, why would you want to go see those teams? Well, I have an athlete that I worked with this season from the University of Vermont, Natalie Mylenkova, who plays on the Czech national team, as well as another girl from University of Maine, Louisa Welke, who was on the German team. So I wanted to take the opportunity to go down and see a couple of the athletes I worked with. Unfortunately, Louisa's sister Lily got hurt in the pre-tournament, actually at a game at the Barry Molson Center. So Lily, if you hear this, again, I feel so bad for that happening right before the Women's Worlds for you. We're definitely thinking about you, but I wanted to go down and see my athletes play at this tournament because it's definitely something special to see them at the college level, but then to see them wearing their national jersey. A lot of smiles on their face seeing them out on the ice yesterday in that setting. And then some other friends at that tournament there on Team USA. Aaron Frankel and Abby Murphy got to chat with them after the game. But just an all around experience at that tournament down in Brampton yesterday. I know Alyssa and I both have had the opportunity a little bit here and there to kind of check in on how the tournament's going, and we're actually going to have the in arena host Kendra Doyle on at some point in the future to talk about her experiences from that tournament. But just a very well run tournament so far, and a little bit of a funny story, but a couple of the athletes I worked with on Wisconsin, and I'll give you a shout out here, Shayla and Layla Edwards from the University of Wisconsin. I reached out to them because Caroline Harvey, who plays on Wisconsin and is a member of the US team, I wanted to do something funny during warm up, and I wanted to get a photo with her somehow. And I reached out to the two of them and was like, what's the best way to kind of have this happen? Like, I want to make a sign for warm up for like what can we do? And shout out to Shayla, but she said that Caroline loves sour candy. And one of the options she gave me was sour gummy worms. And I was like, easy, can easily get them in Canada. like go to Bulk Barn or something. So showed it to my mom who went out grocery shopping yesterday and got some for me for. So made a sign for her and we exchanged it. I got a photo with her. So shout out to her and I got to chat with her after the game outside the arena, explain the story, and it was great to um catch up with her, get that photo together. And it was just a funny moment. I know all the girls on the ice were kind of laughing at it because I saw a couple of them looking over. But the other funny moment from the USA Czech game yesterday, Abby Murphy, you're gonna know this story, and a lot of people are gonna hear this. We might even try and get Murph on one time to try and defend this, but I know she can't. So Abby, when she was at the University of Minnesota, where she goes to school, left a Starbucks drink in her locker for about a week. And Madeline Wethington finally had enough of this and chucked it out. So I had to get back at Murph somehow to kind of have a smile on her face at the Worlds and brought a sign yesterday that said, Murph, don't forget Starbucks in your stall again. And I know every single girl on that US team was loving it at the start of the third period when they saw it coming back out on the ice. So shout out to you, Murph. I know you won't forget Starbucks in your locker again. But other than that, an all around great day. Met up with Natalie at the and a USA Czechia game as well, and then met up with Louise Welke after they shut out the France team. And then one more shout out I want to give on out here before we move on to Alyssa and her Bruin story. Julia Mesplayed from Team France, another athlete I worked with from the University of Vermont, would have been at this tournament for Team France, but unfortunately had an injury where she tore her ACL at the end of this season at Vermont this year. And unfortunately can't play for Team France right now. I know Juju was definitely looking forward to playing in this tournament for sure. And I know it's an honor for her every time she gets to put on that France jersey. So shout out to you for actually even still traveling to Canada. I know you're in the middle of your rehab for that injury back at Vermont, but great to see you around the rink yesterday and have a smile on your face, obviously still. So thinking of her and the rest of the athletes I've got out there. Cannon's up 2-1 on the US right now, so hopefully Cannon can pull this tournament out. But as the tournament goes along, I mean we'll have more up-to-date things. We'll have one more episode before the finals happens, I believe, here hopefully. But if not, we'll catch up with Kendra and have all the excitement from her hosting in the arena. But I'll throw it over to Alyssa again because I know you had quite an exciting day with your Bruins yesterday down in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so it was a really great game. You know, like we made history. If you like already didn't know, 63 wins. 63? No, 50.
No,
No,
63.
63. Okay.
Shout out to the
Long
Bruins
day for
fan
me.
that doesn't even know the stat. Good job. Nice. Nice.
Leave me alone. It's been a long day. Anyways, so I also got to witness a hat trick, which was really cool. Um I did almost get hit in the head twice with some hats because I was on like the lower bowl, and all of a sudden these hats were just plopping down in front of me because I was like directly behind the net on the Bruins side. So all of a sudden like the hats were being thrown, and then like two fell like right in front of me and then didn't even make it onto the ice, and then they just sat there for the rest of the game, which I thought was pretty funny. But for the viewers who don't know, I am the biggest Brandon Carlo fan in the world, or I like to call myself that. In fairness, I don't know if there's any others that actually exist. That's supposed to be a shoot off. But if you ever see this, I love you, thank you. So at the game, I actually had a really good spot at the because I go down there with my little sign every game, and him and I have been having exchanges for almost, I think this is the third season. I have a collection of pucks. Actually, I think I can show you. They're all right here. They're all from him. I think there's seven there or six. And then last game, it was really special because I actually got him to sign my jersey that I was wearing, and it was quite the story of how I got it. I don't know if it's really easy to see, but it's on the top of the two here. Probably really hard to see with the lighting. But He did try and give me a puck, and then some grown man stole it from me. So, I turned and I had my Sharpie in my hand. I turned, I'm like, "Can you sign?" He kind of gave me a look. I'm like, "How are we supposed to do this?" So I put it at like the tunnel, and then I jumped a row of seats, almost fell, but I didn't fall. And then he came back later to sign it, and then I go to give him the Sharpie, and I get handed this. And I get a broken stick, and I couldn't even talk at that point. I've been trying to get a stick from him for years, and I was like, it's never gonna happen. The players, they never give them out, like ever. I don't even care that it's broken at this point. It was a stick, and I didn't even see him snap it. My dad told me after in warm-ups that he caught a pass in the corner, and his stick just combusted completely. Like it wasn't even like a hard pass; it just snapped. And he gave me that. He signed my jersey, and he said it was nice to see you again. And had my little fangirl moment. But the stick is in fact bigger than me. I will put it together and let Sam laugh at me and as well as everyone else watching. I also have cut my hand on it like twice. Probably can't even really see in the camera, but it is in fact taller. It goes out of the frame.
Yeah, it is quite a bit of a distant difference here between Alyssa and the stick. You've got a couple inches shorter here.
And actually what's really cute is that he does write his daughter's initials on his knob up here, which I actually think is adorable and everything. But what do we give his tape job? It's very basic, just black tape. You probably can't even really see it to be honest.
Honestly, it's like it is kind of hard to see, but
Yeah.
it does like is it on half the blade?
No, it's full blade. It's really
Yeah,
hard to
well,
see.
it doesn't look that different. I mean, still is kind of hard to see, but a full blade tape job, I don't know. Does he have his toe taped or did he leave the
Yeah,
toe?
it's like taped all to here. It
But
stops where my hand is.
does he
It's
have it
all
on the
black.
toe as well?
Yeah, it's taped at the toe.
Okay, then I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that then. It's
I
just
don't think it is either.
that's just a generic tape job. Like, I mean, there's a lot of tape jobs nowadays where you'll see like half the tape, like half the blade taped, and those are kind
Like
of weird.
Pasternak's, yeah, how he's got
Well,
like
like,
three little pieces of tape on his
yeah,
stick.
like there's definitely weird ones, but just a generic tape job. I got nothing wrong with that. What do you think of it?
I think it's completely normal. I'm personally a white tape girly, but and it was actually really cool because Pasta scored two, and I was like, he's getting three, and he's getting to 60 goals. And I sent Sam the video, and I'm like, Pasta just scored a hat trick and got his 60th goal of the season. Like, how much better can that get?
Yeah, that I saw that video and that was definitely cool. So shout out to you for being able to see that 60th. I saw was it on an empty net, right?
No,
No, it was on because
on the goal.
I saw Matthews when he scored 50 last year and it was an empty netter against Winnipeg. So um but I mean we both get to see special moments with our team, so it's pretty cool that we both got to experience that and
Hmm.
shout out to you for being able to go to that game in Philly. I know you're down there seeing some family friends, and I know that Philadelphia they've got some struggles this year. But how excited were you to see Gritty? Because I know you seem pretty excited to see him out on the ice.
Oh my God, he was dressed up as the Easter Bunny. And I was watching him Gertie in the corner after. And then
Oh,
I saw a video today because I think Philly's playing Washington, and it was a video of like he's widowy grittying at the White House right now, and he was grittying at the White House.
oh my gosh, that is
But
awesome.
he was in fact dressed up like the Easter Bunny yesterday and raced and then had a fight during the commercial break with a chicken and started throwing eggs at him. That did happen. And then there was a race. He had a race between an ostrich and a flamingo, I think. He won the race.
Oh,
You know what? I give credit to whoever's in there because he was sprinting down the ice. Guy did not fall. I don't know, like no skates. He was just running.
yeah, you've definitely to be a mascot nowadays, you gotta definitely have some skill with some of the things they
That
have
guy must
mascots
love
do.
his job. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine just being gritty?
Or like any mascot in sports, like. We'll
but like
def
Gritty especially.
we'll definitely have to talk about this at one point over the course of us doing this podcast, but we'll definitely have to have like our favorite mascots of all time and break them down and see where like they rank because there's got to be like some that are just absolutely awful to work as. I
Like
feel.
the Leafs one, yeah.
Oh, really? We're taking shots at that. Okay. I see how it is. There's
But
gonna be
it was quite funny just to like I was like I looked over like during like I think it was like a whistle or whatever, and Gritty is grittying on like one of the corners like where like if like where people shoot like for like where people shoot videos and stuff. And he was grittying just in the corner next to an old lady, and I it was quite funny. I don't think I got a video of it, but I did get a video of Gritty skating around looking like the Easter Bunny. I was so excited and I was like, oh my God, I get to see Gritty. I didn't even like think of it.
now as a Bruins fan, obviously it's a lot harder to go see your team at home, but do you enjoy watching your team play? Because you've seen them on the road a handful of times, obviously. Um, do you prefer seeing them on the road or do you want to see them play at TD Garden one time?
I've seen them play at TD Garden
Okay.
twice. So TD Garden was really cool. So I didn't get to go this year just because of constricting flights and ticket prices that almost bankrupted me because their tickets are like Leaf tickets, and if you know what Leaf tickets are like, you know the pain.
Yeah.
So I went to a game. I actually have the programs right here. I went to a game. I went Saturday, March 9th, 2019, and we went and we played the Senators. This was before because they got the arena redone a little bit. They got put new seats in it. So that was my first ever game. That was before I like really knew like to go down to the ice and stuff. And like I just went and I was excited to go. We won that game. And then I went again November 23rd, 2019, and we played Minnesota and I had gotten tickets on the bottom and I got them like for such a good price. I think I paid like 120. And if you're listening and you've ever looked at TD Garden prices, you know that that is non-existent. So I got down there, my sign, I actually still have the sign over here, and it was like, "Hey Carla, like I've traveled X amount of kilometers to see you." And I got a puck from him. Actually, I can get the pucks right here. Took down the tower. This was the first puck I ever got. Um, and then I didn't get to see, and then I was supposed to go see him again literally March 14th, 2019. And if that date rings a bell for anyone, that was when like COVID first happened. And I was so upset because I had tickets to go to Buffalo and it was just a whole thing. But like I haven't been able to get out to TD Garden in a while, but I'm definitely looking to go next year for sure. And like during that Minnesota game, we were down like 4-2 or something with like 5 minutes left, and we won the game in overtime. It was such an electric building. Like I've never seen a building that loud before. It
Yeah,
was
it's
like an electric comeback.
yeah, absolutely. That's definitely awesome. I was just curious because a lot of people don't seem to like seeing their team on the road as much as at home. I mean, I've only seen the Leafs play at home, so it's kind of hard to say, but I know definitely like Ottawa and stuff. It's a lot of hostile environment for Senators fans with the amount of Leafs fans that travel, but I mean that's what happens when the Leaf charge like $400 for to sit in the 300 level. I mean, it's pretty absurd at times, but uh
Like I went to the Bruins Leafs game and I sat in 317 section 317, which is the obstructed view section, but I was far enough in the row that it wasn't an obstructed view seat. And I think I paid over $200 for my ticket.
yeah, like it's nuts. Like
hmm
it's crazy to see that they're charging so much money nowadays just to go see an NHL game. Like, yeah, I get all the stars and all that you want to go see and you gotta pay a certain price, but just the fact that you can go see like I mean, a lot of people dog it, but nowadays you can go see some of these players 4 years before they're in the NHL in the OHL level at $25 a seat. Like 10 years ago or more actually, you could have gone and seen Steven Stamkos and John Tavares for like $30 at an Oshawa Generals or Sonia Sting game when they played each other, and now they're playing each other in less than a week, I think, or so, then at the NHL level in the playoffs, and the lowest ticket prices for a Leafs playoff game, I'm pretty sure is like $400 or something. Like it's absurd. It's ridiculous. I mean, we
Hmm.
gotta somehow figure this out at some point to bring the tickets down. Because I mean, the Jays right now, and we'll get into this in a bit, but the Jays, they've got all the superstars. They've got a great offense, but you can go to a Jays game for like $50 for tickets. Like I
Not
guess,
even
I guess it's
$18 I saw.
yeah,
I
like
was looking $18.
you can get $20 general admission tickets this year for Jays games and just be able to walk around and stuff. Like it's ridiculous. Like you should be able to like grow up or be able to go to these games and like enjoy yourself. Like, yeah, you're gonna be paying a lot of money for like food and stuff at these games because it's Rogers and that, but
But
like
even like I've been to a lot of Jays games and like their food is actually like a reasonable price.
yeah, the Jays actually is like they have the beer prices are a little up there. I mean, they seemed it was at Worlds yesterday too. It was like $10 for a beer. Like it was kind of like
That's kind of
really
absurd.
like why are you charging
And like
so
I
much?
can't even lie, like yesterday, like me and my dad ate at the rink. I paid 21 American dollars for chicken fingers and fries. 21 American dollars.
Yeah, yesterday it was $16 for fries and a hot dog and a drink. Like that was just I was just like, really? Like
Hmm.
and like yeah, it's a combo, it's gonna be a little bit more, but really you're charging $16 for like
Have
that?
you seen that graphic of someone took a picture of the Oilers concession prices? Have you seen that?
Yeah,
That one. And it was like a burger and like a drink was like $30 or something.
yeah. Like
I
there,
remember seeing that somewhere.
there's a lot of teams, even in the OHL, it's pretty expensive. Like Mississauga, you can get like an entire pizza for like $30 a game. Like you can actually like legitimately buy a pizza at Mississauga Steelheads game, but I don't know, that's kind of weird. But um we'll get into the OHL a little bit here now. Obviously, both of us have been pretty busy with our lives with our two hockey teams when the playoffs started for the OHL. But I've been able to kind of keep Alyssa up to date a little bit here, but we'll kind of run through what's kind of happened in the playoffs so far. The first round is gonna be wrapped up by tonight. So for those that don't know, on the Western Conference side of things, um it was the Windsor Spitfires versus the Kitchener Rangers as the 1 versus 8 seed. And Alyssa, obviously the Kitchener Rangers getting this done in 4 games. What are your thoughts on the Spitfires team that loaded up at the deadline to get a guy like Shane Wright and some other pieces to go down in 4 games?
I mean, it's like a I wouldn't want to say a waste, but like you spent all this to get Shane Wright and then this happens. Like, I mean, you go back and look at like Tampa, like 2 or 3 years ago or 3 years ago, they had all the talent in the world on this team. They finished with 62 wins just to get swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, I mean, upsets are bound to happen, but like that's like kind of awful.
Now, the second series, the London Knights Owen Sound attack. London taking that in 4 games. I don't think that's a shock to anyone. Owen Sound had a great young team this year. Shout out to Coley Barlow and Aurelia Kidd. Is going to go pretty high in the NHL draft this year, but that London Knights team is just something spectacular, and they're definitely going to go on a pretty long run. Sarnia took down Guelph in 6 games, 4-2. Guelph really wasn't the favorite in that series. It was a 3 versus 6 seed matchup. And Guelph forced them to 6 games after going down 3-0. So shout out to the Storm boys there. Saginaw and Flint. Saginaw going up 3-1 on Flint. That's definitely something I didn't see coming. And it's 3-3 with Saginaw up 3-1 right now in game 7. So it looks like Saginaw is gonna take that one away. Eastern Conference, Ottawa 4-1 over the Ottawa Generals. Good on the Gens to sneak one out against a very, very strong Ottawa 67s team that finished first place in the OHL this year. North Bay over Mississauga 4-2. I got to go to a couple of those games. One in Mississauga, one in North Bay. So shout out to those guys, an all-out war in that series. No goalie goals, unfortunately, but what can you say? Great series. It was absolutely electric up there in North Bay on Friday night, but good on them. Barry Hamilton 3-3 now. The Colts were down 3-0 and somehow have made it 3-3 now. So shout out to the Barry boys. They were up 3-2 in that series. And then Peterborough and Sudbury 4-0 for the Peterborough Petes.
Sam's definitely doing backflips in the back of his head right now and trying not to cheer so loud. We were talking about this game before the game started. And he's like, "Fuck, they're already losing."
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, like I want to shoot game 7, but it's a long week already for shooting games for me, which I'll get into in a little bit here. But yeah, it's weird though, because a lot of times in playoffs you'll see a series go back and forth. And that's what this series has done with the Barrie Colts and Hamilton Bulldogs. It's a 4-5 or 3-6 matchup. And it's one that's probably shocking a lot of people in the OHL right now, I think, because Barrie came out the first game of this series and won 10-2. And Brant Clark scored a Michigan to make it 10-2. So it looked like this series was over in the first game. And then Barrie came out and won game 2 by a score of 6-3. So it looked like, okay, they're gonna be rolling to this. They
That's
start
against your defending champs too.
yeah, and so they started out hot against the defending champs, and then all of a sudden Hamilton gets hot in their barn, and it comes back to Barrie at 2-2, and then of course Barrie gets hot in their barn again, and Anson Thornton gets the crowd fired up, scores his first goal, and gets Barrie a 3-2 lead going into Hamilton. But the weird thing about this series is both teams haven't won on the road. That's the thing. It's been home victories for this
So
series.
logically,
Logically, it could go to 7 at
Hamilton,
this point. Hamilton's at home
Hamilton have a
right
game
now.
7.
No, Barry.
Oh no, Barry does.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see what happens.
Barry's the 3 seed. Let's see the breakdown of this game so far. So it was Sahil Panwar with his first of the playoffs in the first period, and then Lucas Moore making it 2-0. Florian Jacki in the second period, his first ever playoffs. And then it was Brant Clark, Bo Akey, and Ethan Cardwell scoring for the Barrie Colts. Shout out to Brant Clark, though. This guy
What a beauty.
came back to the Barrie Colts in January this year, and he had 61 points in 31 games as a defenseman. And he's sitting at 16 points in 5 games for the Colts right now.
Hold
Again,
on, Brant Clark's he's a defenseman?
yeah,
I thought
that's
he was with those numbers.
no,
I like he's a defenseman, seriously?
yeah, Clark's a D-man. He put up 61 points as a D-man in 31 games in the OHL this year.
So I think he's playing the wrong position.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think he just wants to be a forward so bad.
He's just been tearing up 16 points in 5 games in the playoffs. So we'll
Yuck.
see by the end of this podcast. It should still be going on. 12 minutes to go in the third period. But Colts should pull it out. If not, I'll be at the game 7 tomorrow night in Barrie. So have some good coverage there with photos and stuff. But yeah, what are your thoughts so far in the OHL? Has any of the teams kind of shocked you with their series wins yet?
I mean, Kitchener sweeping Windsor's got to be like up the top of my list there. Like I kept up a little bit with it during the season, just like I would like go and like check him, whatever. But like honestly, I couldn't imagine like being the 1 seed and just that happening. I could never recover from that. I
Yeah,
couldn't even recover when the Menace lost. How would I recover from that?
yeah, that was a tough series against Collingwood, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, your series was a little tough too, eh?
Yeah, I know. We'll get in the OJ quickly. Alyssa was with the Milton Menace this year. You guys unfortunately lost to Collingwood in the second round, 4-0. Just kind of briefly talk about this season as a whole. I know you kind of joined late, but just talk about your experiences everything you kind of learned from this season in the OJHL.
Yeah, I worked for them last season and then I came back kind of halfway through the season this year and it was like the greatest experience I could have ever asked for. Those guys on the team are such just a great group of guys. They're so good to me. Um, we played like at one point, like just before I got there, we were ranked the best team in Canada at one point, and we were leading the league, and we went on like I think we started off the season like 11-0-1 or something. And congratulations to like everyone on that team. They played very well all year. Had a tough had a tough go with Collingwood, but it was kind of a Cinderella run as we were the lowest seeded team still left in all of the playoffs. But you're welcome because we did avenge you by beating Pickering. I feel like
Yeah,
everyone was a little happy about that one.
yeah,
We did beat the defending champs. That helps a little bit. I did in fact bawl my eyes out though after the game.
yeah, I know the feeling. We were the best team, I feel like, all season long, and
Yeah, well,
falling
with your
in
record for sure.
falling
No
in
one was even close.
falling in 7 games to an amazing Trenton team. So shout out to that Trenton team. Ben Bonesteel stood on his head as a goaltender in that series. And to our guys, we had 8 overagers. I want to give them a shout out here. Tyler Fukakusa, Michael Aftomovsky, Hayden Heinrich, Ben Loretto, Ben Van Watershoot, um, Matthew Wild, Owen Say, all those guys and Cooper Bertrand, sorry, all those guys came back after us losing in 7 games to Pickering Panthers last year. And the run that our team went on was just spectacular. 45 wins this year, up and down, everyone in the organization, everyone put in so much hard work, and as I know everyone in Milton did as well. It takes a lot to put a championship team on the table, as both our organizations know. And it was a great run for both teams for sure. I mean, just tough for us both to lose in the second round. I know we were really hoping to kind of face each other in the finals or something like that. Which,
Yeah, Sam and I talked about this quite a lot, but like in the finals, or like if we played each other even next year, how we're like gonna like start like yelling at each other across the rink. My content's better than yours.
yeah, would have been funny, but I mean, at the end of the day, um, it would have been a long run, and I mean, we're probably kind of both happy in the sense that you're not having to be at the rink every single day right now and can kind of enjoy summer a little bit more here as it's getting nicer weather out. But yeah, just an all-around great season, and I will say the 4 teams that remain, Trenton and Wellington, that's going to be an amazing series. The Battle of
I
Quincy.
actually have a score update.
Um,
Burlington beat Collingwood 2-0.
Oh, did they? Yeah,
Yeah,
I was looking at that earlier. So it's 2-1 for the Collingwood Blues in that series
and
now.
then it's 1-1 with just under 4 minutes left in the second for Trenton and Wellington right now.
And I believe that series is 1-1. I
Yes,
believe
I think
Wellington
each
won
team. I
game.
think Wellington won the first game.
No, Trenton won game 1, and then Wellington won game 2, I believe. But the 4 teams that remain, the Burlington Cougars, Collingwood Blues, Trenton Golden Hawks, and Wellington Dukes, all amazing teams. So it'll be great to see who can lift the Buckland Cup and represent the OJHL at the Centennial Cup this season. But moving on now to the NHL, obviously just a couple of games left here in this season for all the teams. The Leafs are playing right now, so I believe they only have 1 game remaining after this one tonight. And I'm not sure what the Bruins are sitting at, but probably just 2 games
Yeah,
left.
we have 2 games left.
So what are your thoughts so far on this season? Obviously, you guys have a lot to be happy about in the regular season with 62 wins, a lot of wins, but as an NHL fan,
63 actually.
63, yeah. Have you been happy overall with the way the season's gone this year?
I definitely can't lie. I was on when we first started, like we had no Marchand, no McAvoy. We had a lot of injuries, and I was honestly on the tank for Bedard train because I thought that's where we were going. I'm being actually serious. And for us to turn around and show up like this, could never imagine it. Could never imagine this team. They couldn't have done it without Linus Allmark or like absolutely unreal season for him. I can't believe my eyes about it. Like he's had such a good run and passes got I think 108 points. I believe it's 108. And then you got all these guys like taking a step forward. Like Jake DeBrusk has been a really good asset for us, taking a step forward. And then we've added like at the trade deadline, I couldn't believe what we added. We added Tyler Bertuzzi and we added Garnet Hathaway and Dmitry Orlov, a really solid defenseman, a really solid like third bottom six guy to like, but definitely we got a lot tougher, which is I think what we needed. And I do have to say, I do enjoy the Rock'em Sock'em hockey, and we do play that really well. But I'm very, very proud of this team.
Now it looks like right now the Bruins would be matched up with the New York Islanders in the first round of the playoffs. What if they were Cinderella story and knock off the Bruins this season?
Bye. I'm done. Going to my other teams. He's making fun of Sam was making fun of me before this game, before we started filming because I'm wearing a Trevor Zegras shirt, and he was making fun of me about it.
I only said that because you got the Ziegler shirt on and you got a Boston Bruins poster in the
I
background.
actually have the limited edition Zegras shirt too somewhere. I think it's up here somewhere. If I can find it. Like when he scored that goal in here it is in Buffalo. I have the shirt and it literally says "dude" and it's got his face on it.
That's awesome. But in terms for
This,
my side, the Leafs, they've gone on a pretty good run this year. It's got a lot more tougher at the deadline. Bringing
by the way, Florida just scored, so it's 1-1.
Luke Shen back. And yeah, tough goal for the Leafs to give up there, but
Perfect timing.
7-1 victory over the Montreal Canadiens the other day. Not a big deal. But it happened again, and this is something I definitely want to talk about at some point on this podcast, but emergency backups. What are your thoughts on them and how cool is it to see them get in? Jed Alexander from the University of Toronto goes in with over a minute to go against the Montreal Canadiens. What are your thoughts on E-Bugs?
I think honestly they're pretty sick, but I did see, was it, oh, I don't remember who said it. I saw this yesterday. One of the Montreal guys, I forget who it was. Was it Hoffman?
No, it was Chris Weidman.
Weidman, that's who it was. And he was incredibly angry and he felt disrespected that the Leafs had said, okay, like get the kid in because they were up 7-1. But I was like, you know what? Like, if it was you, you would have done if it was your team, you would have done the same thing. Like you
Yeah.
guys are just kind of mad that like you were like if that was me and like they put the goalie in, I'd probably be like a little bit salty about it, but I would get over it.
And it wasn't even Sheldon Keefe who decided to do it. And it didn't
Wasn't it Samsonov?
I don't know who I don't know who made the call. Maybe it was Samsonov, but um they talked to Keefe after the game and he said that like he was told 30 seconds before that Alexander was going in. And like you're not as a coach in the NHL, you're not gonna take this away from the kid. You're up 7-1. So it's been a well played game. In Montreal, yeah, they're having a little bit of struggles right now, but you don't have Cole Caulfield in the lineup, you don't have Jacka, you don't have your toughness on the back end. So it's gonna be tough to win a game against a strong Toronto team that has everyone in their lineup. So I mean, I don't really know why Chris Weidman had to say that. I mean, if you're a Montreal fan and it was your situation, because Alexander, I think he was the emergency backup for both teams. So if their goalie got hurt or both their goalies got hurt, he would have played for them, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, like, are you gonna say the same thing about David Ayers? He did it against the Leafs. Like, there's no Leaf fans that are like, really? Like, that's what I don't really understand about it. But
Well, in fairness to that, he didn't have a choice. He had to go in.
yeah, but I mean,
But even like still, I know what you
at
mean.
that point, what do you get? Like, what are you gonna get angry about? Like, what if Jet played for you guys in that situation? Like, you're gonna be happy for the kid. Like, it was for a minute of the game. Like, And again, Sheldon Keefe after the game said it wasn't his choice. So maybe it was Sam Snoff who went to them and was like, I don't want to play last minute of this game. Like there's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with it. Let the kid have his moment. But um the one thing that I found cool is this didn't happen, but a couple games before for the Leafs, and if you're a Leafs fan, we would have been pretty excited about this if this happened. But I believe it was Matt Murray who wasn't on the bench for the game on Saturday because of an injury. It happened a couple games before, but Curtis Joseph was set up as the emergency
Oh,
backup.
I saw
And
that.
if he had have gone in, Leafs Nation would have gone absolutely ballistic. As a former goaltender of the team, getting his chance again with the Leafs, that would have
That's
been
so funny, honestly.
extremely cool.
That would have been
Um,
hilarious.
and so I don't
I would
think
have faked an injury just to
I
see that happen.
I don't think Chris Weidman would have been running his mouth if Curtis Joseph showed up on the ice instead of Jet
Hmm.
Alexander. But yeah, I mean, for a Montreal Canadiens team that's not going to make the playoffs, I think he should kind of keep his mouth shut a little bit. Because I said this to someone, but they're going to be golfing before the Leafs are golfing, so I don't really know what the whole "oh they'll get what they deserve in a couple of weeks" really means. But I mean. Um, I'd love to see the Leafs play the Boston Bruins in the second round of the playoffs, though. That'd be a pretty exciting series to see the Leafs take down the Bees this year. So,
As
um,
much as I hate you guys and I like don't want to see you win, I can see you guys beating Tampa. Tampa's not the same team anymore.
if we beat Tampa, we're coming for that crown against the Bees, and we're gonna take them down too. So,
I don't know about that,
oh, here we
but
go. Canada's breakaway 3-1. 3-1 victory for Canada. Laura Stacey putting the empty netter away here. Crowd going nuts. Not a lot of American fans there in Brampton today. Um, I don't see one American fan standing right now actually at this game, but shout out to this Canadian team, the defending champions from last year. They want to take it home on home ice here in Brampton. So little score update there for you. But what a beautiful I know you can't see this goal here, but Emily Clark at center ice, right across Laura Stacey at the hash marks, fires it into the net. But
oh, Trenton takes the lead at the end of the second intermission, 2-1.
is it in? It's in Wellington, right?
Let me double check, but I think so.
I believe. Yeah, Wellington would have been the higher
Wellington. Yep.
because Trenton was a 4 seed.
Oh, my boy Ryan Holmes scored. Shout out Ryan Holmes, guys. Melton Menace legend right there.
It yeah, I think Wellington would have had home ice for sure.
Um,
Scores! Oh my
yeah,
gosh, Canada scores again. That one might come back because Sarah Philly ran in there and Frankel, but um might be 4-1 for Canada right now.
that's a slay.
That arena is packed in Brampton right now, which is great to see. Shout out to all the fans that made it out to
Holy penalties in the Burlington game.
well, was there a lot?
Collingwood went 0 for 7.
Hits Sarah Philly and then hmm. So this one hits Sarah Philly, goes across the line, but she makes the slightest amount of contact with Aaron Frankel. But Frankel's still moving towards the puck here. This is it's so hard nowadays to call goaltender interference, I feel like.
Yeah, it really is.
Because like the slightest bump of a goaltender, it's gonna get called. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
um, but um before
Carlson hit 100 points.
oh nice. Shout out to Eric Carlson. He's having a tremendous year. And oh, that was the quickest review without them actually like I'm so confused right now. It's not a goal. And they didn't show them reviewing it or them coming on the ice and saying no goal. So it is 3-1 Canada here. Um, before we wrap things up here, and get our final thoughts on like upcoming games and stuff here, the OWHL, women's U22 double A, provincials are happening. All the provincials for OWHA are happening this week in various spots around Ontario. The U22 double A ones, which I'll be at with the Durham West Junior Lightning, are happening at Iceland Arena in Mississauga. So if you have the chance, come out and support women's hockey. It's great to see all the support right now for the Women's World Championships in Brampton. So definitely come out. It's great hockey. And yeah, so definitely come out to Iceland Thursday to Sunday. Come out and see the number one team ranked in Canada, West Durham Lightning. Shout out to them. And I'll let Alyssa give a shout out here because I know she's got a couple friends like playing in provincials this week. So I'll give her a
Yeah, I
chance.
got a couple girls, so shout out to them. Good luck to everyone. I was talking, it was funny. I was asking my one of the girls that I know, and I'm like, "Do you guys play Durham?" And she's like, "Yeah, they're in our division, but they smoked us." And shout out to like your girls. I think I was looking, and I noticed that like what every girl on your team is committed D1 almost.
Um,
A
there
lot of
is
them are at least.
there are I 18 girls on our team committed. Um,
18, holy crap.
15 of them are D1.
You had a couple U sports.
Yeah, so Jaden Fox, Callie Ivels, and Megan Bermanis are all committed to U Sports in Toronto. Callie's going to University of Toronto, and then Fox and Bermanis are going to Ryerson, or as it's called
TMU.
TMU now. And then the rest Division 1, and then we've got a couple that aren't committed yet. Nothing against them. It's just they aren't able to commit yet, I believe, from my understanding of it. Just because of the age of them. Our backup
Ah,
goaltender Madison Campbell, she's at 2007. And then the other two that aren't committed, Lauren Thomas and the other one that isn't committed right now, they're all 2007s, so they have to wait until like May or June of this year, I believe.
so too young.
So yeah, that's kind of why they aren't committed right now. There's a lot of skill in this league, in U22
Definitely.
especially. There's a couple of girls on Mississauga too that are the one girl, Lamarche on Mississauga had like 75 points or something this year, just absolutely unreal. So yeah, I'll run through this quickly, but goaltender Clara Karunikar, she's committed to Mercyhurst. Other goaltender Madison Campbell, she's uncommitted, but is a 2007, so should commit this year or next year. And then defense Piper Grober is going to Cornell, Fox is going to TMU, Ivels is going to University of Toronto, Georgia Sembrano is going to Colgate, Abigail Patra is going to Merrimack, Sarah Rose going to Holy Cross, Sadie Hotless is going to UConn, Kaylee Quagg's going to Cornell, Caroline Engelbert's going to Union, Zoe Ziotis is going to RIT, Riley Horlock's going to Merrimack, Madeline Palumbo's going to Colgate, Jesse Pellerin's going to Providence, Lauren Thomas is one of the others that isn't committed. Um, and then Dorothy Capetti, she is on the other one that isn't committed as well, another 2007 born player. And then we got Bergmanis is going to TMU. And then the last one here, Katrina Carrere, she is committed to Robert Morris, who's getting their program back next year, actually. And then Alex Law, finally, Boston University. So a lot of girls on that team are committed D1. A lot of girls in the U22 league are committed D1 by this point. But at this rate, you usually do commit by like your grade 10 year. So a lot of these girls are around there in their 11 or 12 year of high school right now. So they've been committed for a little bit. But yeah, shout out to everyone that's competing. It's gonna be a great week at provincials, and I'm definitely excited to see what happens here. Score update though: Colts and Hamilton 4-4 with 50 with 22 seconds to go in the third period. So it looks like
Oh
game
God.
game six is going to be decided by overtime. And then in the Canada game here, Canada gave up a goal here, but it is being reviewed. So it could be 3-2 for Canada right now over the States. We'll see. But Alyssa, great chatting with you again. And we'll be back shortly for another episode of the podcast. And I'm sure either the next episode or the episode after that will be our first guest, Kendra Doyle, coming on their podcast. We'll get that set up this week for you. But any final thoughts here, Alyssa, before we wrap up?
Um. Your Leafs suck. That's all I have to say.
Oh, of course the Leaf shot was coming. I knew that was gonna come, but hopefully everyone have a great week. And
You took the L to us last week, so
this Canada goal or the USA goal is getting reviewed for offside, and Taylor Heise looked a little bit offside, but then Ella Shelton absolutely runs her from behind. So there probably should have been a penalty on that one, but Hillary Knight just putting the puck in the net like she does for Team USA, but that one is hard. Yeah, the camera angles they're showing here on TSN aren't really helping much, but maybe we can get some better camera angles for the tournament next year to see when you're reviewing something. But seems like kind of a long review here, so we'll see. But again, great talking to you, Alyssa, and we'll definitely be back soon with another episode.